All right, 61 episodes and counting of Business and Leadership Stories with me, Rishi K, and the excellent Sachin Bandari, the storyteller extraordinaire who's by my side. Just some show listings for you guys. We're on the radio every single Tuesday, 8 to 8:30 a.m., which is your prime drive time in Mumbai, Delhi, Bengaluru, and Chennai, 8 to 8:30 a.m. in audio form. And just about 48 hours later, we're on the Mint YouTube channel, the YouTube channel for Mint, in full glory, in resplendent video form. So you can catch the video episode as well as the audio episode each week on Business and Leadership Stories. Welcome back to the show, man. 61 and counting, doing well. Inching our way to that 100. Brother, it's wonderful. And all of us have grown up on superheroes.
Who was your favorite comic book character?
Well, my comic book character, my favorite has got to be Iron Man.
Okay.
Because he's more human than most of the others. But having said that, India had its own superheroes. There was Bahadur, you know.
Okay.
And of course, the West continues to have Phantom and Spider-Man and Superman and things like that. There are lots of learnings from superheroes, which is why even adults now form a large audience for Marvel and DC films.
That's right.
You go into a Marvel and DC film, you would imagine it would just be kids, but it's parents taking their kids
to
experience those films. And I think it's spectacular if we look at the positive side of it and gain what we can gain from our superheroes.
Right.
I have a sneaking suspicion that your superheroes are not going to be run-of-the-mill. They're not Marvel or DC. Who would they be?
Yeah, you got me there. Yes, Asterix and Obelix. I really used to enjoy reading those comic books.
Terrific. And for those of you living under a rock, it's the Roman Empire. Caesar has conquered much of Europe.
Right.
But a small little French village called Gaulish is something they're unable to conquer simply because there's Asterix, who's a diminutive, figure. Obelix, who's a giant. And they're aided by the magic potion of the Druid Getafix.
Right, that's right.
So please go catch the comic books. They're wonderful.
Yeah, it used to be so much fun reading those. Now imagine, the reason why I'm talking about that superheroes also is because when it comes to introducing your business sometimes, or when you're talking about things in business terms, right? If I had to describe the Storico, I think the Storico, founders and executives, all of these people are Asterix and Obelix, who are facing challenges. Sometimes they have to go to war or they have to win a particular battle, and they come to get a fix, which is me or the Storico, and I give them the magic potion of using stories in their communication, and that's how they start winning with stories, whether it's to increase sales or to raise funds or to build really strong teams. Now, the entire idea is that if you actually use these kind of analogies in your communication, it becomes interesting, right? And sometimes we do face situations where things are a little boring. How do you spice them up using some interesting analogies? That's something that I'm thinking about today.
And if I remember correctly, there's Cacophonics the Bard, who's such an awful singer that at the end of each episode or each story, they tie him and gag him up so that he doesn't sing. So Wonderful there. Are you a big advocate of somebody giving a superhero pitch to you about their company? If they were a startup or a company which already exists?
100%. Why not? Like, for instance, it's not just about superheroes. What I do tell a lot of my clients and people who work with me is that when you're dealing with a topic which might be a bit dreary, a bit complex, a bit boring, may not be able to, get the audience's visual imagination going, that time you can use analogies from other parts, other domains, whether it's cricket, Bollywood, superheroes, etc., to make your communication more interesting so that your message lands a lot better to people that you are addressing it to. So
or make them do an interesting exercise like, if your business were a superhero.
That's right. In fact, I do that. I ask
you
people.
You do? Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And what kind of answers do you get? Do you get a Wonder Woman, for example?
I got a few interesting answers, Rishi, when I asked kids about their parents' business and if their parents' business was a superhero or if their parents were a superhero. So I got, there was one kid who said his father is into the painting business, all right? He's a big painting contractor down south in Mysore. And he said, my father is like Hulk. And I asked him, why Hulk? your father's into painting. He's like, because he's able to do things really fast, like, he can get a job done as soon as possible. So sometimes I feel kids have better way of describing things than we adults can. So somewhere along the way, we lose that ability to speak in interesting anecdotes and stories and characters. And we all need to reclaim that.
And that would be your tip for the day.
That is correct. Yeah. Yes. You can always use analogies, things from other spheres of life, and make your communication more interesting. And like you said, if you want to introduce your business, sometimes you can just ask yourself, what would my business be if my business were a superhero?
What Sachin does with great flair is that he wraps things up in a story, a very interesting life lesson, a business or a message wrapped in a life story. At the end of it comes a very actionable tip. And if the proof of the pudding is in the eating or the listening or the reading, because the Win with Stories newsletter on LinkedIn is quite extraordinary. I suggest that you go and check that out. Even otherwise, if as an HR professional, you want to revamp your manager's way of thinking or your employee's way of thinking, workshops with Sachin Bhandari would aid them to a great extent. Where can they reach out to you, buddy?
It's very simple. Look for Sachin Bhandari on LinkedIn. And on my profile, there's a link which says get in touch or stay in touch. You can click on that. You can either subscribe to the newsletter, just like Rishi mentioned, or you can also get on a call with me to see how I can help you or your organization win with stories.
I want to see you next week. Cheers.
94.3 Radio 1.